Hello. Thank you for clicking on my thumbnail. Are you a first day colorist? Have you ever watched one of them adult coloring videos on YouTube and thought to yourself, I wish I could do that? Well, I'm here today to tell you, you can do that. This is my third coloring page. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, guys, so you can see it a little bit better. This is my third coloring page. And you can do this on your first coloring page. Yesterday, I had never done this before. This is my very first attempt at blending. And I want to share with you what I did so it would make your journey, if you watch this video to the end, you will have a great foundation for your coloring journey, and you're going to increase your fun level dramatically, because once you see the potential when you do this, and this is very simple, when you do this, you will see the potential, and it's just immediately the sense of fun that you can have is just going to be, you know what I mean, right there. You're going to know it right then. I did. After I colored my first petal, the very first petal, I knew that this is opening a door. So I would like to walk you through my steps, show you how I did these colors. We've got orange flower, blue flower, or violet flower really, and then the leaf. So we've got an orange one here. I did not do, like I said, I did these yesterday. So we've got an orange, we've got the violet, and then we've got a leaf down here that we're going to do. We're going to do these three things. Now, let's talk about the color palette. We're only using 3 colors in our palette. We've got 3 separate color palettes. This is the green for the leaves. We'll talk about the colors. But let me show you how I picked the colors. I swatched them. Now maybe we should zoom in just a little bit. Just for now. Probably about like that, and then we'll check it here in a minute. But I swatched them. Here's my colors for the blues. And you can see like right here, one of them kind of turned green on me, because we know that blue and yellow make green. So that was a little too much. This was a little bit softer over here. I just started swatching colors until I kind of found something that I thought kind of worked good together. And this is the result. The blue over here is the result. I think that looks pretty good. You know what they say about practice? Practice makes better. So with practice, that's all I can do now. For the rest of my journey, I'm going to be practicing. So then the colors for the orange are right here. I just swatched them out, got an idea of what they were going to look like. That's not too bad. This is 4 colors. We're only going to use 3, so I eliminated one of the oranges. Well, no, actually, that was just an overlap. So that's exactly what I have here, those 3 colors. And then, of course, the green over here. And I use white with the green. Okay, but anyway, I swatched them to determine what colors I wanted to use. I will go over what color I am using. I am using, sorry about my arm in front of the camera, guys. I am using Colorist colored pencils. That's what I'm going to be coloring with. So let's start. I want to start with this big violet one right here. So I want to turn my work around a little bit like this. Let's see, I got to make sure I stay on camera. So this is the blue one. So here's what we have. I'll show you the colors. We're going to start with purplish blue. It's called purplish blue. And then we will go to, I think it's cayenne, C-Y-A-N, cayenne. I don't know if you can actually read that on there or not. Anyway, and then we have butter yellow. Whoops. Butter yellow. And that's number 058 in the Color. Okay, so we're going to start with that. We're going to start with the purplish blue, the violet color. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to find a place to start. Let's just start right here with this one. We're just going to put this color right down here, the dark color right on the inside. I got a little bit out of the line right there. Don't really worry about that right now, guys. Actually, I meant to sharpen my pencil. That's why I got out of the line right. It's a little bit too... So I need to sharpen it just a little bit. I'll go ahead and sharpen all three of the pencils that we'll be using on this flower. One more. Now I am going to show you the exact method that I used. By the time this video is finished, guys, if you'll stay till the end, you're going to learn 2 techniques for blending. Or I'm going to show you 2 techniques for blending. And like I said, you're going to increase your level of fun by so much, because you're going to see that this just opens up a whole new world as far as coloring is concerned. So let's just go like right here. Maybe like this right here. It's probably pretty good. And then we're just going to lightly, very lightly, just pull that on up a ways. Now we don't want to take it all the way to the top. Now, right where we have the edge of this dark line here, we're going to come straight across. And we want to bring that line straight across. Well, not straight across. It can go, I just want to go from here to here on the same line. But we can make it, it can do whatever it wants to do. I'm not worried about those circles. I'm just going to color right over the top of those circles. Or we can just go like that right there, and then just lightly pull some of that color up this way, like this. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just like this. And then we're just going to, and I like to kind of curl it around just a little bit. We're just getting some color up here. Like that, okay? Now, we're ready for the second color. That's all we need to do. We're going to take our blue, our cayenne, I think it's called cayenne. I'm not really sure. I think so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go right over the top of this purple that we put down here. We're going to go over the top of this purple up here. Right up here like this. And then we're just lightly put just a little bit of that blue color up top. Now, we're getting ready to put a yellow on top of that. So we got to remember that blue and yellow make green. We're going to bring this up. And we want to bring this blue right up to the edge of where the light purple strokes ended. So we have a double layer of color right up to the very end. We'll go ahead and color this one while we're down here. We can extend this up just a little bit more because that's where the purple goes. And then we're just very lightly, we're going to throw in some of this light blue way up at the top. Not right on the very edge, but a little bit up there. And now we're ready for the third and final color. And again, we're going to go right back over the top. Right out to the very end. And we're going to cover the whole thing. And I'm pressing pretty firm. And that, from what I understand, that is what is called burnishing the paper. Much like you would do a piece of leather, if you were working on leather craft, you would burnish the edges, which is smooth them all out, smooth the edges out. So there's the first leaf, the first petal, not leaf, the first petal. And as you can see, that doesn't look that great. I kind of shouldn't have went it crosswise. So I'm still learning too. This is my first experience at this. So now, instead of doing one petal at a time, we'll go all the way around with our inner color, our dark color. Now this is a little bit bigger than these were, so the stroke is a little bit different. So I need to keep the stroke moving in one direction actually. And then what I do on the edges right here is I just connect it to wherever it was right there. And then I just lightly throw some color up there like this. And then I just come across here like this. And I think what I need to do is kind of keep the stroke moving. It's okay back here, but on this edge, keep the stroke moving out away from the center. And then we're just lightly throw some color up in here. Little bit of color, not much. Very light. Bob Ross would say 2 hairs and some air. If we were using a brush, but that's still how lightly you want to do this, very lightly. Okay? Now we go to blue. And we're just going to do like we did in the other one. We're going to just color right over the top of what we already did. So we can get some of that blue and the violet to mix together down here. And the blue now, remember, we're going to cover up the violet with the blue all the way out. And then we're going to take blue very lightly and just put some out here towards the end. Now we will grab, I don't know how long I let that slide off the camera, guys. Now we're going to grab the yellow. We're going to color the whole thing with yellow. It turns a little bit green now, remember, but that's okay. We don't mind a little bit of green. And we're just going to cover the whole thing with the yellow. And because we didn't put any blue right up on the very edge up here, see, we get that nice creamy colored. So now we go back to purple. Now, instead of doing just one color, doing all three colors, we can do the purple all the way around. We can just pull this purple all the way around the whole thing. Put a little light purple up here like this, just very lightly. I hope you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see a little bit. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit more, guys. I think I should zoom in just a little bit more. I'm going to have to try to keep it on camera. And I'm the kind I like to, I gotta turn my air conditioner on for a minute, guys. Okay, I had to turn my air conditioner on. It's getting too hot. Now, I just gotta make sure I keep my work under the camera, especially now that it's zoomed in so much. And then we just lightly throw this purple color in here, up here. We can bring it up just a little bit farther even. That's pretty good like that. And then one thing I like to do, hang on guys, I gotta grab something right quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, guys. I needed to get something right quick so I could lay my arm on it on this table. Oh, that's much more comfortable. Now we're just going to go all the way around. Oops. Let's get back up here and make sure I'm on camera. I like to bring this color, wherever this color on this side is, that's where I like to bring it to. But you don't have to. This is an individual petal, so the color might vary. From one petal to the next. There's some lines in here that actually confused me. I had to look at it for quite a while before I kind of figured out what was going on with some of those lines. There's actually a circle back behind this flower that these horns looking things are apparently attached to or something. Now, then we're just going to lightly bring this color up this way. Just like that. And then here we are. A little bit of light, okay? Now, like I said, this flower is bigger than these over here, so the colors are a little bit, there's more color to it because it's a wider space between, like that strip of blue is wider than it is here, so that's a little bit different for me. It changes my perspective just a little bit. Just lightly, very lightly, throw some color up there. Now you're going to learn two techniques today, guys. I didn't really realize it. I didn't think about it until sometime later yesterday evening after I had worked on this page, that I actually realized that I had really done used two different techniques. I didn't realize that at first. It wasn't something I was thinking about. I was just like really happy that I was able to actually do this. So yeah, you're going to learn two techniques. You should already, like, for me, by the time I got here, I was already excited. Whoops, we're just going to keep going. Let me get these other two. Now, you don't have to necessarily start, bring one edge right exactly up to where the other one was. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want to. That's kind of how I do it, so I can keep things somewhat connected, but it certainly isn't mandatory. Very lightly. And if you want to, you can push some of that color up a little bit farther. Whatever you want to do with it. It's yours. You can make it however you want it. Whoops. Don't worry about getting carried away with the lines there, staying in the lines right now, guys. That's not what this is about. I don't have my wrist braces on. My hands start to hurt. But thankfully, this is not something that takes a long time just for one flower. And we're only going to do 2 flowers and then a leaf. So it's not too bad. My hands won't hurt too bad. I have carpal tunnel syndrome. And I have arthritis, and it does make doing stuff like this very difficult. I have wrist braces that I wear. very lightly, we're just going to throw some of this color up here. See, that one I let run up just a little bit high, but that doesn't matter. Okay, now we're ready to go back with the blue, so we'll turn this back around where we can see what we're working on. And then we just come right back over the top of the purple that we just did, push some of that blue down into it, like that. A little bit of light blue up at the top. And you can see if you look at the other flowers that I did on here, maybe I can show you here in a second. We'll throw this up here. A little bit like that. Let me see if I can find, look here on this flower here. You can see the difference in the yellow, how big the yellow gap is right here compared to like over here, it's just on the edge. Here it's barely at all because I brought that orange all the way up to the edge. So you can do those however you want to. There's no rule that says you cannot take your colors to whatever, wherever you want them to be at is where you're going to take them to. What you don't want to do is take this blue and go up real hard up here. You can put a little bit, but you don't want to do like the whole thing because it's not going to come out the way you want it to come out. It's not going to look like you've blended colors together. And like I said, the colors on this one that I'm using on this page, they might need to be tweaked a little bit, but these colors do work together. But perhaps when I get better at the color itself, then I'll be able to make the blends a little smoother. But this is not bad. It's good for teaching. I was telling people in my chat earlier that I am by nature a teacher, an educator. I like to teach people that they can do things they did not think they can do. All right, let's continue. Like I said, don't worry if you get a little bit of your color, because we're not looking about staying in the lines right now. That's not really what this is all about. We're looking at blending multiple colors together. Now somebody did recommend to me that one of my subscribers that maybe I should get a blending pencil. I think that's what it's called, a blending pencil. So that's something I'll have to look into. And then we're just going to lightly bring the blue up to the top. We got a little purple up in there too, so that's okay. I pushed a little bit of it up kind of high on purpose just to show you that there's no set kind of rule. As long as you put a light color, a light coat underneath it, I call it a coat, but we're not painting. But if you put a light layer, you don't want to come in with a heavy layer, because really you want the new color to kind of stand on top. And I may have actually made the this violet color, the purple, I may have made it a little too dark down here. It looks good over here because it's smaller. Over here it's kind of spread out more. So I'm not real sure. I'm seeing more color on the page than I saw when I did the smaller ones. And of course that's how it's going to be. But it makes it makes all the imperfections stand out a little bit more. And then very lightly, and I try to curve on the edges just a little bit. But it's really, even when I'm coloring like this, I try to push it back in an arc a little bit like that, so you have a little bit of sense that it's rolling over the edge. Just a little bit. And I actually already, before I ever got finished doing these other flowers, I was already thinking, well, I should bring the dark out on this, especially over here. I should bring the dark out on this edge right here too, just a little bit. Move the light back to the center, so make these areas littler so that the light runs like right in here, the light part, so it looks like it's kind of rounded off a little bit. So but that's for other projects, for other blending projects, because like I said, practice is going to make better. This is going to get you started. This is going to open up the door to so much fun and creativity. Just doing these simple little things, just this right here. Because the technique is the same. You can do 3 colors, you can do 5 colors, you can do 7 colors, you can do however many colors to get the gradient that you're looking for, to get that special blend look that you're wanting. Very lightly. And there's a lot of white actually showing through here, guys. Okay, so now we're ready to go back with the yellow, and we'll finish this whole flower. So let's turn it back around. I probably was off camera again, and if I was, I apologize. I'm sorry. It's so hard to stay on camera. See, I'm looking at the wrong flower even. I had to put my finger down. I was looking at the other flower. So I may have had you completely off camera, guys. I don't know. I'm not live streaming, so I can't look over at my laptop and really see what's going on. And then we just cover the whole, we go over the entire thing with the yellow. Let it be moving those colors around a little bit. There's a little suggestion of green in there, which I actually kind of like that. Blue and yellow make green, so that's a natural color, so we would probably see a little bit of that in a flower, on a flower petal. We would probably see just a touch of green, maybe. So yeah, I think I'll get me a blending pencil. Which I think is basically, well, I'm not sure how they're made, but I got the impression that they're just like a wooden stick kind of thing. It might have some kind of special tip. I'm not sure, because I don't have one. So I've never used one before. I just got to look and make sure I'm still on the camera, guys. That's a little easier to do when I'm doing live streams, because I can look at my laptop and see what's happening. Although the lag in the rendering from YouTube is takes some getting used to, because there's like a 6-second lag between when I do something and when it actually shows up on YouTube for a live stream. So I'll be wanting to see what you guys are actually seeing, and I'll have to wait for it to show up, and sometimes I'm not the best waiter in that sense, because I'm like all the time just stopping and having to sit here just so I can make sure that I have things in position correctly for the camera for live stream, but I also need to be doing that now. And I have a tendency to move the book around when I'm working on it. So let me just make sure we're positioned correctly. Look, ooh, I sharpened that one too sharp, I guess, because I've got some crumbs, but we'll finish this section here first, and then I'll brush them off. Now I know that this yellow and the yellow over here look very similar, and they are very similar. They are not the same though. We are using a different color, so we have 9 different colors. Okay, we got one more. Make sure it's on camera, barely. And then we're just, this actually finishes up this flower, the blue. The violet, I think blue flowers are called violet if they're blue in color. I know some of them that I've seen, I've had some that were called violet, but they look blue, so. Okay, so now that takes care of that. I'm gonna brush it off. I got some crumbs on it, so I've got me, I got a brush. Kind of hard to see because it's so big, it's hard for me to put it under the camera there for you guys to see, but that's all right. Okay, so that takes care of the blue one. And that looks pretty good. I mean, for a first attempt. So you should already be feeling a confidence boost just doing this right here. Just doing this one, because now you see you can blend. So now we're going to do the orange flower, which is this one. I'm going to sharpen my pencils, and then we'll look at the colors. And this is going to be the same technique. When we get to the leaves, we will use a different technique. All right, that one I got a little bit too pointy. It's probably, I know it's going to break. Okay, so sorry about the arm. I'm going to move those pencils to the side so I can put these over here where I'm going to be using them. And we'll start with the red. This is burgundy. So we're going to start with the burgundy. And as you can see on the other ones, I just brought it out past the color just a little bit, past these little white things. Just enough to embed those. So that's what we're going to do here. Now, this is the very first thing I started. I started with this color. And I will show you how I did my very first petal in blending. I don't want to go up much higher than that. And then I'm going to come over here and then we're going to come right where that one was. We're going to come up here. We can bring this one up just a little bit higher if we want. And then come back down this way. Doesn't have to be exact. Doesn't have to be. The same thing. Actually, you can pull a little striation lines into this. I didn't do this to this extreme in the on any of my other petals, but we'll give this a shot right here. And then we'll just go ahead and fill this in. And then on the edges, on the very edge of the petal, I like to pull it up just a little bit like this. So we can pull this one up just a little bit like this. And then we're going to throw in very lightly. We're just going to throw this red color in, not all the way to the top. We're just going to throw it in here just a little bit like this. And you can see that it's kind of, I can put just a little bit of a curve into it because I wanted this arch right here. It just gives it a little bit of flow in that direction. And then just like what we did on the blue, we're just going to do one petal and then we'll work the rest of the flower. Whoops, we don't want yellow next, we want the orange. Now this one's going to break because I got it kind of sharp. And again, we're going to come right up to the top of that red color that we just put down, that very light. And then we're going to draw right down in to this burgundy that we already have down here. And we're going to go right over the top of it. And it's going to give us a little layer of orange, but the dark color underneath it is still going to show through. We're still going to see that. And we can be pretty firm with it. Kind of arch those colors around at the top so it creates just a curvature. The eye will see a curve and think there's a bend. And I think we can actually use the positioning of where the light is falling. So if we move the light end back here, right here at the edge, like at the edge of these right here, it would look like that was the highest part and the petal was curving over a little bit. And then we're just going to lightly, lightly, lightly. Now I got crumbs on there, guys. I'm going to brush it off into a trash can because I don't want these crumbs of the color core to end up in my floor. And then we'll take the yellow and light yellow. There you go. Now you can see it. Light yellow 047, and that is the color or color. And we're just going to throw that yellow all over the whole picture and right down over the top of the burgundy. Just bring it all together. Now this is how far I had gotten, guys. In the very first flower, which was this one down here, the very first flower that I did, the very first petal that I did like this, I knew that this was going to change my coloring. The more I would practice this, because now I can do this on anything. And the more comfortable you get, you could do that in here. These small little tiny things, you could actually like blend a two-color kind of thing. All right, so now we're gonna take our burgundy, we'll go all the way around. We're going to pull up on the edge a little bit. Now, I'm not going to do all those striations in here. You can do them on yours if you want to. on the very edge, we could pull it up just a little bit higher. And then we're just going to lightly. Now this color shows up real well. So yeah, so when I say lightly, it does mean very lightly. We're just getting a suggestion of color under here because it's going to be under the orange. Like that. Okay, now we're just going to go on to the next one. We'll go all the way around with the burgundy. And on your picture, you make this color come out as far as you want it to. Whatever looks good to your eye is what you want to do. If there's a formula for this, I don't know what it is. Okay, and then we're just going to come back lightly. Very lightly. We don't want to go up too high, because we've got to remember we've got another color that's lightly going to be up there. So you have to think about how much of the how much of this tip do you want to be in the yellow? Because you're going to take your light blue almost all the way to the edge, but this is okay. See, you can see that this edge here is a little bit different. There's a little more white showing over here, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Now this one here, this is interesting. I have not had this situation. Let me add just a little bit right there. I've not had this situation where I have this flower is covering up this petal. So for part of this, now we're still going to use all three colors. I know it looks like we might not need to use all three colors because the tip of this petal is covered by the blue petals. That doesn't matter. We're still going to use all three colors. But we're just not going to be able to see the tip of this one. But remember, we use all three colors on the entire petal. So we are going to, our top layer is that the yellow color. So the entire surface has all three colors. Now what we're going to do is we're very lightly just going to push this color right on up, because I don't have the yellow. This is going to be blue that comes all the way up, right up into here. Or orange rather, not blue. I was thinking of blue because I'm looking at the blue. It's going to be the orange. And the same thing over here. See, so we have to pay attention. How far down are these leaves, these petals coming on top of our other work? And that was not something I had to think about a lot when I did these, because I did these first. So you can still tell that, you know, this is all the way down into the very dark color. This one down here, if you look at this, where am I? There I am. We come all the way down into the dark color down here on that one. I've got this thing zoomed in. It's hard for me to keep track of where I'm at. Let's, okay, we're here. Okay, and then again, we're just here, we're just going to bring this very lightly all the way to the top, because this is all just going to be the blue. Even all the way down here, it's all just going to be blue. I mean orange. I keep saying blue, but lightly, lightly. Something about like that. Okay. Now same thing here. This will not have the yellow tip. We won't be able to see the yellow tip, but we will use the yellow. But we'll only be able to see the orange, this burgundy and the orange, but we'll have the yellow like an overtone on all of it. Pull that up just a little bit higher, just to give it a little bit of change in there, a little character. We'll pull that one up. Now, just lightly pull that red all the way up there, the burgundy, all the way to the top on this petal. Okay, and then we've got one more to do. Okay, then a little bit, lightly, lightly, lightly. can turn this like this a little bit. On the edges, curl it in just a little bit. There we go. Okay, now we need orange. Again, we're using pumpkin red. I don't know if you can really see that good. Pumpkin red, number 253. So, and we're gonna do this one right here. Firm pressure all the way out to the edge of that burgundy. And then lightly, we'll throw some color as an orange, that light orange in there. Just very lightly. That'll leave us room for the yellow at the top. Once you get that first layer on, it's easier because this shows you exactly where you want to put your heavy second layer. You know right where to bring it out to because you're going to bring it out to where you ended the first layer's color. And then this is where we're going to take this all the way up. Because we're not going to see, we don't see the yellow tip of the petals over here. Bring it up all the way into there, okay? Now where's my flower? Sometimes it's really hard to locate it when I have the camera zoomed in. It's hard for me to find where I'm actually trying to work at on the camera because I kind of have to like stand up a little bit to be able to see the camera here. It's about even with my eyeballs in the overhead position. Okay. Make sure that's covered good, and then very lightly we'll throw some orange right up here. Throw some of that orange right up there. Okay. Now this one again, we're going to darken this one out with the orange. We're not really going to see any of the yellow tip. So we'll just bring that orange all the way up. Okay, one more petal. Now I normally live stream, guys. I was gonna live stream this, but it's easier for me to really pay attention to what I'm doing, focus, if I don't have my chat up. But I prefer live streaming to making regular videos. Occasionally a video is suits the purpose better though, and I wanted to share this blending with you guys. Because I want you to know that you too can blend. Okay, now we'll go back with yellow, and we'll go ahead and just start with the petal we just finished working on right here. We'll do yellow. And just like before, we're just going to cover the whole picture with yellow. The whole, well, not the whole picture, but the whole part that we're working on. We're going to cover it. We're going to just let these colors move around a little bit. And we'll just go all the way around. And you kind of can see color moving around a little bit. Looks good. I can tell you that this was my favorite colors to work with on this page anyway, of what I did right here. The green, I like the green of the leaves too. It turned out real good. I wish like my color palette with the violet was a little bit different, but that's okay. That's all a learning process. And we're just covering, this is very strong pressure, guys. Very strong pressure. Okay. I gotta brush this off in my little trash can right here, guys. I don't like for those little colored crumbs to get down on my floor. Now, we're not finished now. We still got to come back in here where it is underneath here. I think we did this one already. This just makes sure that everything stays uniform color-wise, because we have everything else covered with the yellow. So we want to make sure we get this part colored with the yellow too, all of it. Even though we can't see the yellow tip. We got to maintain that consistency. With the layering and the blending. And I think, yeah, that's where I started. So that takes care of orange flower, lavender flower. Now let's do this leaf down here. Let me see if I can move that back this way just a little bit so I can pull this book back here towards me. Okay, so now we're through with those colors. I'll go ahead and put those over here on the other side. And now we're using these colors. I'm going to sharpen them. The leaf was really fun. And this is a different technique. So this will be our second technique. Okay. Now on this one, we're going to start with the white. I'm going to use the white. We're going to start with the light color this time. And I'm going to go right over all these vein looking things. You could use a yellow. You could use like a real faint green. You could use whatever color you want to. This is just how I chose to do mine. We're just going to put some white on all these little veins. Then we'll come over here on this side. Oh, that probably was not. No, I didn't really need to put color right there, did I? Whoops, let me get back on camera here, guys. Boy, when you have to zoom in with your camera, you have such a little space to function in. Okay. Now we're going to take the light green, and this is a lightish yellow green. What is that? Color 100. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this light green right in. Oh, I really over sharpened that one. Let me get you back on camera. We're going to take this light green and we're just going to come in right along the edge of that vein, right on the other side of that vein, all the way around. We're just going to run this color right on this vein, and we can actually color right over the top of the vein. We're just going to color right here, come right up here like this. We can come this way, like this, and then we can come right down the edge and then right down the edge just follow the vein. You could go right over the top of the vein too. That's how I did it. I just kind of, that way it pulled a little bit of green off onto this light green, off onto the vein itself too. Okay, that's probably pretty good. And now we're going to take the dark green and we're going to come around the outside edge. So we'll just start right here. And we'll just let this color blend right in. We're just going to come right on the edge right here like this, guys, with the dark. And we can just grab some of that color. We can put a little color in here like this, see? Just put a little bit of color in there like that, right on top. And I really like the way the dark color goes on top of the light. And you just put as much dark as you want, guys. Whatever dark color you're using along the edges, you just use as much of that color as you want. You put it where you want it. Let it run it down into that light color. It blends real nice. The dark going down on top of the light blends really nice. Some of these spaces was a little tight, kind of hard to pull that color around. But you could just pull this color right down into that lighter color, and it blends really, really nice. And I'm running very lightly with that dark color over the top of the whole thing. That just tones it down just a touch. And then we can take the light green and come back in right over the top of the dark. I go right back over the whole thing with this lighter green. Which pulls it all right back together. Pulls it all right back together. And then to finish it off, we can take our white and just come right back over the top of it. You really don't have to do that because you're really not pulling off any more of the white. The paper's not going to take any more color, especially the white, but it can help give your plant, the leaf, like a little frosty look. And some plants have that little like frosty hair on it. So there we go, guys. So let's zoom back out now. Really hard to work with it zoomed out as much as I had it zoomed out. There, now we got the whole thing sitting on the where we can see it. So that's how it's done, guys. Two different techniques for blending and layering colors. The more you practice this, the better you're going to get at it. The more I practice this, the better I'm going to get at it. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Come join our community. I live stream at various times. So watch for me to be broadcasting. Come say hello in the chat room. So that's gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Until then,